that I'm able to be here. I also want to give thanks to Marshall and Advanced Resilient team that made this trip possible for me. So I'm a third generation farmer. My family in Colombia grows coffee for more than 55 years. And as getting into the third generation, in the area where I'm located, the land wasn't fertile anymore. There were many years we were doing these practices that had our farm soil very degraded. It was you can see erosion in the soil. And we were told our land wasn't good for coffee anymore. So we began harvesting or growing cacao to solve this situation, but the cacao wasn't also working either. So when I got the administration of the farm, we took the decision we were going to regenerate the soil and to do things differently because things were not working. So inspired by my grandfather, he had an indigenous past, and by reading Paul Anderson, Wood Gas Page, Dr. Eileen Ingan, Soil Food Web, and Dr. Johnson information about composting, the premium compost, and Silvia Primavesi. So we came up with a methodology. So this is the farm right now. The farm has completely regenerated the soil, and we were able to change not only the chemical and physical structure, but the most important, the biological. So I used to work in palm oil 15 years ago, and we had this terrible outbreak. We had Phytophthora in Palma, which is a terrible disease. It devastated half of Colombia's plantation of palm oil. And as you see, the palm oil in Colombia has massive amounts of waste that is led to rot in the way. They burn it, they don't know what to do with it, and the plantations like the one I work with have extensive and exhaustive nutrition programs, and we couldn't find a way to solve things like Phytophthora palmivora. So if you can see the picture, you see the roots of the palm. They are visible because they are looking for nutrients to eat. Even we put the fertilizer, the plant wasn't eating. So 14 years ago, we solved Phytophthora palmivora by pyrolizing the sick material. Every time you have a fungi material, you have to pyrolyze it to make sure you cut the cycle of the sickness. We improved the carbon to nitrogen ratio to a 24:1 when the biome may live, and we use amendments. So this was how my plants look in 2019. The recommendation was to tear down everything because it wasn't economically viable. And my cacao plants, they also look pretty bad. And we were like in a no-way situation. So biochar for me was like the only way I could think I could support that operation and to get the farm again going. The other thing we experimented is these temperatures that have these seasons where you have no rain and then it rains, but it rains heavily. So we lose trees because the winds come, and I lost in a year 13 trees. We have hail. We have already the hot periods. They reach up degrees Celsius, and we need to make those root systems very strong so they can be resilient to climate change. So this is a measure of the soil temperature. On the left, we have the plantation of a neighbor who hasn't put any biochar in his soil, and it marks 50 degrees Celsius in a 10 a.m. hour. And to the right, we have our system that is with biochar in the soil and cover crops that you can see. We have 21 degrees Celsius. So cacao and coffee has a lot of potential with the biomasses. For example, cacao, we have measured in our farm, it has a 12 metric tons of waste per year, only of the prunings. That's only talking about the prunings. If we take into account the husk, then it's gonna be a percentage of the production that it's about 70%. But if the production is getting rotten because of for example, rot pot disease, it can be higher. And coffee, for example, we have, every time you renew the coffee, we have 20 metric tons of renewable material, woody, that's only woods. And if we account the other material that is getting to waste, that is the husk and the cherries when you wash them, then we have 80% of the coffee production is waste. So it's a big potential. It hasn't been taken advantage of. And for example, we had some avocado trees, so we did the projection. Avocado has 150 metric tons per hectare of biomass potential, woody biomass potential. So in the farm, we monitor temperature, time, and weight. We use barrels, and with the time we have been using it, we have been seeing changes in the acidity of the soil and in the organic matter. So in the pH, it went up almost 2 points, and in organic matter, we have from 3 almost to 5. So these are variables are very difficult to change in a soil, and with the biochar, you are being able to even modify these variables. We also combine the use of biochar with extracts. So we use, as Dr. Johnson says, the compost extracts. We take beneficial native microbiology. We have a neighbor forest, so we collect the microbiology of the forest, and we formulate it with our biochar. We use molasses, cane syrup, fermented coffee water, and these help us to multiply the microorganisms. The coffee production has a lot of water on the process, and we can recycle it and make microbiology go. So when we use biochar as a planting amendment, you have high vigor and lower nutritional needs for the plantation. You have fewer reprocessing steps in the planting period. That impacts a lot on the budget. You manage other cover crops, and like how do you put in, it will depend on the plant you're planting and in the soil requirements. The experiential evidence has shown us you have the presence of nitrifying and phosphorus solubilizing microorganisms. So in this plantation, I didn't put any nitrogen base, not phosphorus, And even if I didn't put it, I found out it was available and plants look like I have put those elements. So the soil already has those minerals, only they are not available because the biome is not there. The weeds began to shift by itself because as soon as you become to have a richer soil, then that is evident in the top layer. So the weeds you see at the beginning, they begin to change by itself. You don't need to put herbicides, and you have strong and deep root systems. So this is a root system with only 250 grams of amendment, biochar, in the hole, like in the planting hole. And you can see all that rhizosphere holding on to the biochar. In the production and nutrition, we see that defoliated trees are, you can extend the production, you have recoveries, and even fungi outbreaks, such as rust leaf, we could manage that. And so at the end, we see that when you manage the soil with biochar, you have healthy and blooming plants and productive. Thank you very much.